welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. That was super sweet of you. Today's video is going to be all about skin and all about making our skin look glossy and dewy and wet and shiny. If you want to learn how to get super glowy, glossy skin despite the dry, terrible, cold environment that is wintertime, then I hope that you will keep on watching. Alright, so the first step of my glowy winter skin routine, I already did off camera. I used the Aveeno Ultra Calming Daily Moisturizer with sunscreen, and I like to put that on right after I put on my toner, so my face is still a little wet, and that way when I put on my moisturizer, it creates sort of an extra hydrating film, and it allows your moisturizer to absorb better. So that is why I didn't do that step on camera, but I never skip moisturizer. All right, so I applied my moisturizer about 30-ish minutes ago. I did it right before I started setting up my camera because I wanted to give it plenty of time to fully absorb into my skin so that my skin won't be tacky anymore and I can make sure that I'm ready to go for my next step, which is primer. And today I am going to be using my e.l.f. Hydrating Primer, very affordable. I believe it cost me $6. I love this primer so much because it has lots of incredible skincare ingredients in it, like vitamins A, C, and E, and grapeseed oil, which is great because those are really hydrating. So I like to shake it up a little bit because it is kind of an oily, I don't want to say oily, but it is kind of a slick primer as opposed to something really thick. It's a little on the thinner side. You'll see when I squirt it out here. See how it's like, it's gonna slide down my hand real quick here. That's the sort of texture this is, and I'm just gonna, the way I like to apply it is I like to sort of press it on to the places where I know I'm gonna need the most moisture added. Usually the perimeter of your face is where you get the driest, of course. And then I'll just take whatever excess I have left on my hands here and kind of press that into my T-zone because that is usually where I get a little oily. Alright, so for foundation, I'm going to be going in with my Colourpop No Filter Foundation Stix. I am in the shade Light 40 Neutral. Alright, and I'm going to be going in with this Colourpop flat kabuki brush. It's called an F15, so that helps you find it. This is a brush you like. And the reason I chose this foundation in particular for my wintry glowy skin look is because it is really skin-like. I wouldn't say it's matte at all, but I also wouldn't say it's dewy, but I like that it's not like a sticky dewy foundation because I am gonna apply a bunch of more glowy, dewy, hydrating things, and I feel like this foundation acts as a really good base for that. I also like this foundation because I can cover areas where I have blemishes, and for me, once my blemishes are healing, they get really dry and flaky. I have to make sure that I'm using a foundation or concealer that isn't gonna cling to those dry, flaky spots and is gonna smooth over them, and I really like that this foundation does that. Alright, so the next step that I'm going to go in with is going to be another primer, and you're probably thinking, you just put your foundation on. You already did primer before that. Why would you be going in with the second primer? And I resonate with you and I understand where you're coming from, but please bear with me because I have a process, okay? So the primer that I'm going in with is from Wet n Wild. It's a dewy face primer and it has vitamin E in it and it is awesome. I would not recommend using this all over your face as your actual primer. That's not really my thing. I felt like it made me look shiny in all the wrong places underneath, but I do really like to use this on my cheekbones and on the high points of my face before I go in with my actual highlight because I think it's a great highlight primer. You can see the texture is like, it's very watery. It's a very watery texture here. There's nothing that really feels like primer to me, like you don't really feel any like dimethicone or anything that's going to be like pore filling, so that's why I wouldn't recommend using it as a primer for your foundation. But I like just taking a little bit and just kind of like pressing it onto my cheekbones here. I'm not going to rub it in or anything because I did just put my foundation on, but I like putting a little bit on where I know I'm going to apply a highlight later because I think it gives it a nice It like further hydrates my base, gives it more of a like natural looking glow before I'm gonna go in with like actual highlights or powder highlights, whatever highlights I choose to go in with. I think it gives me a nice, very like naturally glow from within type of look here. And I like that it gives me a nice base to put more highlight on top of. So you're gonna wanna wait about 5 minutes for this super wet primer to dry before you go in with your bronzer and blush, just because, as I said, it is a really watery consistency and it is very wet, which looks awesome. But if you go right in with bronzer afterwards, it's gonna cling to those wet spots and it's gonna look a little patchy. So I would definitely recommend giving this primer like 5 minutes to dry, and then it's still gonna look nice and wet, dewy, and glowy from within, but it's gonna be set and it's not gonna move. All right, so I was very good and I waited the full 5 minutes to make sure my glow was set. That being said, we're gonna go in with a little bit of bronzer. And the bronzer I'm gonna be using is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, cult classic, cult favorite, everybody's favorite. So we are choosing to go in with this bronzer because it combines the technology of both a cream and powder bronzer to deliver nutrient-rich ingredients straight from the Amazon. Can you tell I just read the website? I did. But that is because I wanted to confirm the ingredients in this. It does have marumu butter in it, which is very hydrating, and also has 2 other types of butter in it. I'm gonna go in with my same flat kabuki brush here because I just find that that applies this really well. So the next step I'm going to be going in with is blush. And lately I've been really into this blush from Kaleido. And I really like it because it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. But I was a little nervous when I first got this because I thought that it looked like it's just gonna be like straight up highlight on my cheeks, which I'm not trying to do. But it really is pigmented like a blush. And you'll see when I go in with my brush here that there's some pink on there. There's a nice peachy pink tone going on. Looking very, very luminous. All right, so those were the last of the powder products that I'm going to be using for my nice wintry glowy skin look today. So before I go in with a few more hydrating items, I'm just gonna go in and set my face with my Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe, herbs, and rose water. You can tell she's well loved because I only got a tiny bit left. I gotta order more. I like to drench my face in this because I like that it has hydrating elements like aloe and rose water in it, but it also really acts well as a setting spray to cause your makeup to just melt into your skin. So I cannot complete a glowy skin look without drenching myself in this. Ooh, I love being shiny, I love being shiny, wish I could be shiny all the time. All right, we are getting down to the final steps in my glowy winter skin routine here. The next step we're going in with is yet another skincare step that I incorporate into my makeup routine, and that is going to be the Weleda Skin Food. I love Weleda Skin Food because it is full of lots and lots of flower oils. There's like a lot of flower oils in here. There's a lot of oils in here. And she is thick. You can see it's in one of these very industrial looking like metal containers that you would see like some sort of paint come out of. I don't know, I think it looks like a paint tube. Boop. You need such a teeny tiny amount, especially for what I'm going to be using it for, which is to add more shine to the high points of my cheeks. So I'm just gonna take the product and warm it up between my fingers here. And I'm just gonna press that onto my cheekbones. All right, so now that I'm all finished going in with my skin food, you could be done here. I know this next product I'm going to use is a little bit on the pricey side, but it is good. I do really like it, and that is the Glossier. I say Haloscope. I've heard people say Haloscope. You know what it is. It's the signature Glossier highlight that a lot of people know and love, and a lot of people think is super overrated. I'm pretty stuck in between right now because I Wasn't super into it in the summertime, and now that it's winter time and my skin is bone dry, I am very, very into it because it has coconut oil in the middle, and then it has a nice highlight ring on the outside, which apparently has real crystals crushed into it, so that's exciting. But what I like to do is I don't apply it directly to my face. That's something that a lot of people don't like about it, is because with a lot of highlight sticks, you can just go right in on your face with it, and this one moves your makeup around, so do not do that. I'm just gonna go right in on my fingers here. Make sure you swirl it all the way around. You wanna pick up both the crushed crystals and the coconut oil. And I am just gonna, like we did with the skin food, I'm gonna press that on here. I feel like the skin food gives a very like oily wet look, which I like, and then I can go in with my Glossier Haloscope and add a little bit more of a highlight feel to it. I want a bit of a natural glow and a bit of a crystally glow. Alright, so that was the last of my hydrating steps. I'm gonna finish my eye makeup and then I'm gonna come back and give you the full effect of my glow. Alright, so this is my finished look. I went subtle on the eyes because I really want it to be all about my glossy, glowy winter skin. Went with the glossy lip because you know my lips are gonna get dry in 5 minutes after walking outside. We don't have time for liquid lips. We don't have time for anything but a glossy lip. So I hope you enjoyed following along with my glossy winter skin routine, and I hope you learned a few things that you might be able to incorporate into your own routine. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that if you liked this video, you will give it a thumbs up and that you might subscribe, because I have 6, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other videos that you can watch on my channel right now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.